Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your reading for November the 6th through November the 12th. And this is a general reading, so take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And if you would like a personal reading, that information will be in the description box below. Also, this is your sun, moon and rising, so if you know your moon and rising, I will have links to the other videos below too. And please follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. I'll have those in the description box below. Now, thank you for all the love last week. I really appreciate it. And please don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this video. Share, comment, and give me feedback. I always read it and I always respond. And share the video on this video on other platforms if you feel inspired. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's very helpful if you do that for me. Thank you. Now, without further ado, let's go to your cards. And the first card that came up is the Star. I love the Star card. The Star card is all about healing. Physical and spiritual healing. And it's the card of hope. It kind of indicates that some of you have been through a really tough time, and now this is almost like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like the stars spreading starlight where there had been darkness, and now there's light. And your path is easily seen. So you're going to know in which direction to go because the light will be shed on it. The shining light. It's interesting because I think of the moon sometimes when this card comes up, and you know, it's this full moon in Taurus that's just happened by the time you get this. It's happening right now, but by the time you get this, it will have just happened. But this is a deep healing, and this is also sometimes, you know, a light is shed on things, so you can see the truth in a situation. This is a deep. Sometimes you'll see the truth within you. You know, this is, you know, this is a spiritual and physical healing. It's a beautiful card, definitely. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. It's funny because the Knight of Pentacles, I just got healing from the Knight of Pentacles too when I looked at it. The Knight of Pentacles is the Green Knight, right? He reigns over the material plane, and when this card comes up, it's saying, look, keep moving, right? You must keep going. Sometimes we just feel like giving up, but this is like, get up, get your stuff together. It's almost like pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. Just keep going. This is a knight that's not running into battle. He's, you know, all knights mean movement, right? This particular knight is moving slowly and methodically and strategically. So when I always think when this guy comes up, it's like, look, move forward, but just take one step at a time, you know, just, you don't have to rush. Just keep going. Keep the momentum going. Persevere and don't give up, right? This is loyalty. He's, you know, he's the protector. Now, we have the Knight of Swords, and he is the champion for justice, right? And he's kind of judgmental. And he can also speak harshly, because this is, you know, the swords are the mental realm. So it's a cerebral message, and this guy's fast energy, and he's coming in and he'll just judge right there and chop the guy's head off if he thinks that he's not doing something right. Now, what interests me was the Five of Swords came up underneath it. So this is saying that some of you are in a bit of a battle with someone. It might be like a competition kind of thing. It might be some competitive backbiting kind of stuff, right? And it might just be arguing, debating, but I think it might have come to a head and got a bit nasty recently. Now, this is saying, right, you can't win this battle with violence, right? You can't win this battle, and sometimes it's best to just humbly, sometimes this card's about being humiliated. It's about being, it's about backing off and knowing your limitations. And so when this came up under here, I'm thinking you could be in an argument and you've taken it too far, and you kind of know you have, but it's like your ego is holding you back from admitting it, even to yourself. So when I would say, look at the situation you're in and listen, there's no shame in your game, darling. Sometimes people really admire people who can admit that they're wrong, have the courage. It takes more courage to admit that you're wrong and say, you know what? I was wrong. You were right, Even if you don't believe they were 100% right. The fact is it's gone too far. So somebody needs to back off. Why don't you be the bigger person? I'm thinking that this is what you need to be, the bigger person, and you need to just admit that you were wrong and diffuse this situation, because this can get really out of hand. This is a kind of situation that can get really out of hand, Aquarius. So, excuse me. We also have, under the star, right, came the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Eight of Pentacles is about it's almost like an apprentice card, right? So, with the star coming up on top of it, I feel that you're going to get some healing, and I feel that when this card has come up, it's asking you to really put the time and effort into learning everything you can about what you're doing. Become an expert. Now, either, sometimes it can mean go back to school, but this means, to me, like if you already have a job, put the time and effort into the job that it deserves, Don't just wing it. Don't just say, oh yeah, I know. Really spend that time and effort on it. And put your heart and soul into something. This is what I'm getting. Put your heart and soul into it. It's going to really pay off for you if you put your heart and soul into this. Look at that. The colors kind of match in the background too. It's kind of interesting. Look. So I have a feeling that this is kind of looking at the details. So you've got this hope, right? And the light is being shed. And it's showing you the way to go. And the way to go is to really pay attention to the details. Dot your I's and cross your T's and really focus. Focus and learn everything you can. Become an expert in your field. That's what this is asking you to do. When this comes up for me, it's like, oh, maybe I need to learn something new, maybe I need to study something new. I'm always wanting to study something. I have to stop myself from studying. I have to stop myself, honestly, because I'd be certified up the wazoo. I like to learn about everything. And so I have to, at some point, it's like, okay, stop learning, right? And become the expert in everything that you do. So give each one the time and the effort that it deserves and become an expert in it. And things really pay off when you become an expert in something. Now we also got the Lovers card. Now, I'm getting that this is being compromise. It's lovers doesn't necessarily mean, lovers, you're going to fall in love. But look, when we compromise and we meet in the middle, we get this beautiful kind of chemistry that happens, this beautiful energy when we come together. So it's interesting because, you've got the sword, the swords, right, next to, you know, this and this. So I have a feeling that this might be a relationship that you're having difficulties with, some kind of relationship. And maybe it's your lover, maybe it's a partner at work, but there's some kind of turmoil. But it's time for you to it's time for you to really compromise, and it's time for you to admit that you're wrong. Don't let your ego rule this. It's very important, Aquarius, not to allow your ego to rule this. I'm getting, for some of you, it's business partner. It's somebody at work. For some of you, that's what I'm getting, definitely. Some of you, maybe it is your relationship. But this is interesting, right? So the significator, 2 cards came out. I asked for the, you know, a card for the general. What I'm doing is pulling 6 cards, and then I asked for the general message, right? And the message is to not hang on. And I'm feeling it's not hanging on to something that you're, you know, that you, not hanging on to the idea of what you're fighting for. So you've kind of become this fighter for this thing, whatever it is that you think that, first of all, you thought that you were right, and then, you know, I think you know that it's gone too far and that you're not right, and you really need to back off. And, you know, I think your ego's got in the way, and this is asking you to let go of that ego, Aquarius. You've got to let go of it. Whatever's, it's like, look, I don't know if you've ever had that experience, and I'm sure you have, where it's like, you know, you've been holding on, you've been arguing, and then when you admit that you were wrong, it's almost like there's a newfound respect for you. I mean, sometimes it's like somebody throws it in your face and say, yeah, I told you all along, and yeah, you're right. You just diffuse it. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It's like you take your power back, because when you're fighting that fight that you can't win, right, you're losing your power. You're giving your power away because your ego is taking over. And when your ego takes over, you know, it's not a pretty sight. We all know what's happening with someone's ego out there right now. I'm not going to get political by just saying that. I just got political, didn't I? Anyway, that aside, so this is asking you to let go of that. Let go of the idea. Let go of the idea that you can win this, and it's like, I've got to be right, right? You don't, you know, don't be judging, and you don't have to be right all the time. Sometimes, you know, sometimes even when you feel you're right, sometimes it's the best thing to, you know, admit that you're wrong. That's really big. That's really big. And then you have the Fool, right? With the letting go and then the Fool, because then you can start this journey, right, all over again, but with excitement. Because this situation that you're in is blocking you. It's blocking you, Aquarius. So when you admit, or when you become the bigger person, and you let go of this, because it's almost like you're a dog with a bone, right? Drop the bone. It's like, let the bone go. This is saying let it go, because that's blocking your energy and it's stopping you from moving forward. And when you block that, then you can move forward, right? That's the Fool. The Fool goes out and he's like excited about this adventure he's going on. He's got all this faith and he's excited, and it's a big adventure, you know, it's change, you know. So there is change. There's definitely some changes going on for you, Aquarius, but depending on how you handle it, if you can be humble and you can pull back, it's going to be a wonderful change. It'll be exciting. Just let go, yeah? Aquarius, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all, and I'll see you next week. For a personal reading, please email Mary at liveinthesolution.com.